Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, where today we're going to be continuing to read Moby Dick. So, let's get going. And we're getting very close to the end of it as well. Heart of wrought steel, murmured Starbuck, gazing over the side, and following with his eyes the receding boat. Canst thou yet ring boldly to that sight, lowering thy keel among ravening sharks, and followed by them, open-mouthed to the chase? And this, the critical third day. For when 3 days flow together in one continuous intense pursuit, be sure the first is the morning, the second the noon, and the third the evening, and the end of that thing. Be that end what it may. Oh, my God! What is this that shoots through me, and leaves me so deadly calm, yet expectant, fixed at the top of a shudder? Future things swim before me, as in empty outlines and skeletons. All the past is somehow grown dim. Mary, girl, thou fadest in pale glories behind me. Boy, I seem to see but thy eyes grown wondrous blue. Strangest problems of life seem clearing, but clouds sweep between. Is my journey's end coming? My legs feel faint, like his who has footed it all day. Feel thy heart, beats it yet. Stir thyself, Starbuck, stave it off. Move, speak aloud. Masthead there, see ye my boy's hand on the hill, crazed aloft there? Keep the keenest eye upon the boats. Mark well the whale. Ho, again. Drive off that hawk. See, he pecks. He tears the vane, pointing to the red flag flying at the main truck. Ha! He soars away with it. Where's the old man now? Seest thou that sight, O Ahab? Shudder, shudder. The boats had not gone very far, when by a signal from the mastheads, a downward-pointed arm, Ahab knew that the whale had sounded, but, intending to be near him at the next rising, he held on his way a little sideways from the vessel, the becharmed crew maintaining the profoundest silence, as the head-beat waves hammered and hammered against the opposing bow. Drive in your nails, O ye waves, to their uttermost heads drive them in. Ye but strike a thing without a lid, and no coffin and no hearse can be mine, and hemp only can kill me. Ha ha! Suddenly the waters around them slowly swelled in broad circles, then quickly upheaved, as if sideways sliding from a submerged berg of ice, swiftly rising to the surface. A low rumbling sound was heard, a subterraneous hum, and then all held their breaths, as, bedraggled with trailing ropes and harpoons and lances, a vast form shot lengthwise but obliquely from the sea. Shrouded in a thin drooping veil of mist, it hovered for a moment in the rainbowed air, and then fell swamping back into the deep. Crushed 30 feet upwards, the waters flashed for an instant like heaps of fountains, then brokenly sank in a shower of flakes, leaving the circling surface creamed like new milk round the marble trunk of the whale. "Give way!" cried Ahab to the oarsman, and the boat started forward to the attack. But maddened by yesterday's fresh irons that corroded in him, Moby Dick seemed combinedly possessed by all the angels that fell from heaven. The wide tiers of welded tendons, overspreading his broad white forehead, beneath the transparent skin, looked knitted together, as head-on he came churning his tail among the boats, and once more flailed them apart, spilling out the irons and lances from the two mates' boats, and dashing in one side of the upper part of their bows, but leaving Ahab's almost without a scar. While Daggoo and Queequeg were stopping the strained planks, and as the whale swimming out from them, turned and showed one entire flank as he shot by them again. At that moment a quick cry went up, lashed round and round to the fish's back, pinioned in the turns upon turns in which during the past night the whale had reeled, the involutions of the lines around him. The half-torn body of the Parsee was seen, his sable raiment frayed to shreds, his distended eyes turned full upon old Ahab. The harpoon dropped from his hand. Befooled, drawing in a long, lean breath. Aye, Parsee, I see thee again. Aye, and thou goest before, and this then is the hearse that thou didst promise. But I hold thee to the last letter of thy word. Where is the second hearse? Away, mates, to the ship. Those boats are useless now. Repair them if ye can in time, and return to me. If not, Ahab is enough to die. Down, men. The first thing that but offers to jump from this boat, I stand in. That thing I harpoon. Ye are not other men, but my arms and my legs, and so obey me. Where's the whale? Gone down again. But he looked too nigh for the boat. As if bent upon escaping with the corpse he bore, and as if the particular place of the last encounter had been but a stage in his leeward voyage, Moby Dick was now again steadily swimming forward, and had almost passed the ship, which thus far had been sailing in the contrary direction to him, though for the present her headway had been stopped. He seemed swimming with his utmost velocity, and now only intent upon pursuing his own straight path in the sea. "O Ahab," cried Starbuck, "not too late is it, even now, the third day, to desist. See, Moby Dick seeks thee not. It is thou that madly seekest him." Setting sail to the rising wind, the lonely boat was swiftly impelled to leeward by both oars and canvas, and at last when Ahab was sliding by the vessel, so near as plainly to distinguish Starbuck's face as he leaned over the rail, he hailed him to turn the vessel about and follow him, not too swiftly, at a judicious interval. Glancing upwards, he saw Tashtego, Queequeg, and Daggoo eagerly mounting to the three mastheads, while the oarsmen were rocking in the two staved boats, which had just been hoisted to the side, and were busily at work in repairing them. One after the other through the portholes, as he sped, he also caught flying glimpses of Stubb and Flask, busying themselves on deck among bundles of new irons and lances. As he saw all this, as he heard the hammers in the broken boats, far other hammers seemed driving a nail into his heart. But he rallied, and now marking that the vane or flag was gone from the main masthead, he shouted to Tashtego, who had just gained that perch, to descend again for another flag and a hammer and nails, and so nail it to the mast. Whether fagged by the 3 days' running chase, and the resistance to his swimming in the knotted hamper he bore, or whether it was some latent deceitfulness and malice in him, whichever was true, the white whale's way now began to abate, as it seemed from the boat so rapidly nearing him once more, though indeed the whale's last start had not been so long a one as before, and still as Ahab glided over the waves, the unpitying sharks accompanied him, and so pertinaciously stuck to the boat, and so continually bit at the plying oars, that the blades became jagged and crunched, and left small splinters in the sea at almost every dip. Heed them not. Those teeth but give new rowlocks to your oars. Pull on. 'Tis the better rest, the shark's jaw than the yielding water. But at every bite, sir, the thin blades grow smaller and smaller. They will last long enough. Pull on. But who can tell, he muttered, whether these sharks swim to feast on the whale or on Ahab? But pull on. Aye, all alive. Now. We near him. The helm. Take the helm. Let me pass. And so saying, two of the oarsmen held out of the still flying boat. At length, as the craft was cast to one side and ran ranging along with the white whale's flank, he seemed strangely oblivious of its advance, as the whale sometimes will, and Ahab was fairly within the smoky mountain mist, which, thrown off from the whale's spout, curled round his great monadnock hump. He was even thus close to him, when, with body arched back, and both arms lengthwise high lifted to the poise, he darted his fierce iron, and his far fiercer curse, into the hated whale. As both steel and curse sank into the socket, as if sucked into a morass, Moby Dick sideways writhed, spasmodically rolled his nigh flank against the bow, and, without staving a hole in it, so suddenly canted the boat over, that had it not been for the elevated part of the gunwale to which he then clung, Ahab would once more have been tossed into the sea. As it was, 3 of the oarsmen, who foreknew not the precise instant of the dart, and were therefore unprepared for its effects, these were flung out, but so fell that in an instant 2 of them clutched the gunwale again, and rising to its level on a combing wave, hurled themselves bodily inboard again, the 3rd man helplessly dropping astern, but still afloat and swimming. Almost simultaneously, with a mighty volition of ungraduated, instantaneous swiftness, the white whale darted through the weltering sea, but when Ahab cried out to the steersman to take new turns with the line, and hold it so, and commanded the crew to turn round on their seats, and tow the boat up to the mark, the moment the treacherous line felt that double strain and tug, it snapped in the empty air. What breaks in me? Some sinew cracks. 'Tis whole again. Oars, oars, burst in upon him. Hearing the tremendous rush of the sea-crashing boat, the whale wheeled round to present his blank forehead at bay. But in that evolution, catching sight of the nearing black hull of the ship, seemingly seeing it in it the source of all his persecutions, bethinking it, it may be, a larger and nobler foe, of a sudden he bore down upon its advancing prow, smiting his jaws amid fiery showers of foam. And with that, we're going to end the episode there, because the rest of the book is actually the rest of this chapter. So, you'll have to come back for the ultimate finale of Moby Dick tomorrow. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, or night, no matter what time of day it is. I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.